Yes, I wanted to start with Berlin. Greeting you first. Those who are here, um, we had a hard cap at 300 people, overbooked, a long waiting list, so you made it. I told you buy early enough. People didn't believe me. Like, oh, I didn't believe you sold out. I tell you every year. Um, so don't forget it. We'll have enough of seats. You're standing now, but we'll have enough of seats later on the other stage and around. And I'm happy. I mean, we're doing this now for 8 years, building an ecosystem for AI, Germany, Europe, and worldwide. And you are part of it. You are the researchers. You are the founders. You are the investors. They tend to hide, by the way. You're the software engineers, the developers. We have more policymakers than ever. Means politics finally got the topic last year. A little bit slow. And we have a large number of hubs. That's a very German thing. Yes, you have like KI and we have a whole delegation from Bavaria here today. We have a delegation from EPI, and for years I lobbied for this. The first delegation we ever had was from China. And now we have regional delegations, which I think is very important because in Germany we're very fragmented and we need to meet at least once in a year. And we have a lot of media at this time. Also, for 8 years, almost no media. We have Handelsblatt here, FAZ, Süddeutsche, Zeit. I think Al Jazeera wanted to come by, BBC. Interestingly, only foreign TV is here, no German TV, so no Tagesschau yet. I think we have too much good news for this. Technical team, can you please give me my slides? And my timer. Good. Second, I want to greet everyone for Germany as an ecosystem. We have again the second year of the German AI month, Deutscher KI-Monat. And I think last year we had 70 events. Now stop counting, we're at 80 or 90 events. So it's a good initiative which is picking up. We have a lot of federal ministries doing events, a lot of hubs, regional, very strong again in the south. Also strong here in Berlin, but outside of Berlin there's nothing. And NRW is strong with it. I always look at Hamburg because Hamburg is not strong yet. The Nordics are a little bit slow. Still, a lot of universities using this to make their own AI events. IHKs finally getting it. And we need them because it's about local education. I'm still waiting for my slides. And next one is I want to welcome the world because we have 1,600 people in the streams live. Some of them will watch it later. Some of them, will watch the replays. Over 50 nations, and it's pretty ugly because ChatGPT could not export it correctly for me, so I had to hand draft it myself. But these are roughly the nations which are in the streams, and we know they're interested to understand what we are up here in Germany, because our reputation in Germany is better than we think. As we like to self-criticize ourselves, we're not fast enough, not eager enough, but outside, they respect us. They think we do good quality, we are process-orientated. So the global world has a better picture of us, and that's why they're tuning in from a lot of nations. This is 1,600. And then, state of the AI. Where are we standing? I mean, I don't need to educate you what AI is. We already have done this. We are far ahead. No, still not there where I wanted to talk about. I remember a talk by Hans Uskoreit years ago about superintelligence. Not there yet. The whole AGI discussion is again there, but it's not there yet. Still, it was an amazing year for us. We had billions of new funding pouring into the market. Billions. By the way, most of it went into foundation models, LMMs, and generative AI. So we have an ongoing AI boom, especially Gen AI boom. I would call the last year was the year of the Gen AIs. As AI people, we are thankful for this, for the attention it brought us to the market. Still, I always like to say AI is more than just Gen AI. AI is more than just a chatbot. And I would say 90% of the founders work with AI, which is outside of the scope. And sometimes you only get with some investors for the hype your capital, but the good investors, they understand your verticals and they will invest you even if you don't have the buzzwords on your slides. Second, it's a gold rush. Total amount of startups is skyrocketing. It's great. The whole VC market went down. The AI market went up. So growing against the trend global. And also we have more governments now increasing, and governments I didn't have on my map. For example, Italy announced a couple of billions. Saudi Arabia, I think, wants to invest 40 billions. I mean, it's strategic smart for them, but 40 billions, significant number. Here in Germany, we're currently at a handful of billions overall if we are doing it. And now they come in, hopefully also investing into Europe and to build it. But we had Schmidhuber last year who did good advertising for this. They bought him. Next, what happened in the last years? We have more rules. China has the strictest AI rules. And I had a good discussion yesterday already about how China is interpreting trustworthy and reliable and accept that the social credit system is part of this. For them, it's a transparent AI. We don't like social credit system here. So the rules on paper are the same, but the interpretation is highly different, and this will come to us too. We have the European AI Act. A handful of you have been involved in lobbying for it and changing it. It will come in place, I think, next year. Business for some of you, hassle for the others. And I would say the money makers had a good year. For me, the money makers were mainly two big winners. Nvidia, largely. I mean, everyone knew we need GPUs. Everyone had stocks who knew this before. Hopefully, you still hold them. Was a great year for Nvidia, and the rest of the world just wanted to flow the money in. And where is it going? Lowest level infrastructure. Means more will come. There will be more service providers, more AI companies. All the stack will grow step by step, and this is just the first wave pouring in. And the second is we have Microsoft, and I highly respect them because they doing really smart things out there. Especially in the M&A space, I think they have bought stakes in almost all foundation models. Again, the Americans ruling the world, or how do I say, are the Americans ruling alone? When I started researching 2016 about startups and global comparison, the Americans were ahead of us. And I would say the acceleration in the US is still faster and even getting faster. So the difference is increasing. We follow, we do something, but they do it significantly faster in an accelerating curve. So the difference will just increase. Sure, there's still opportunity for us, but it's like, last year was 0 to 4. If you want to have a metaphor from soccer, now it feels like 0 to 8. Yeah? Or we have one goal. Still way more to do. Second, we all use American software and models, right? I mean, who is using Aleph Alpha mainly in everyday use? Some maybe use Mistral, but if you look for the users global, 95% use OpenAI. And even the companies are still using OpenAI or enterprise versions. I mean, we have two Europeans I can mention, but most models, they're all in the US, and we use them because they write better software. They're smarter, and we all know it. More data, more users, better systems. It's accelerating. And then we have Sepp Hochreiter, who just announced he will kill OpenAI. Maybe a little bit too early. I invited him too. He says he's not ready yet. He wants to come next year. Huh? So my view is US will stay number 1. China will stay number 2. And they are just quiet. And if someone is quiet, means they are focused. They had a lot of bold ambitions, Silicon Road, etc. I think they're a little bit political defocused at the moment, but they're still performing. Whenever you talk with people in China, they had within half a year over 100 foundation models. It took them a little bit because they had to be censored first. You can't have an uncensored system. But still, it took them half a year, and they, have 100, 200 models? We still have like 5, 6 here in Europe. Then we have increasing activities, Japan, Canada, UK, as I said, Saudi Arabia. So we compete with them in the good terms. And I personally believe we need to build like a Western Union for AI, where we aggregate our values, we exchange talents, we work on the data levels. Because we all know, if you look, for example, at Trump, and Trump has his own LMM, because all these LMMs, all these foundation models, they're politically biased. They're mostly on the left liberal spectrum from American views. So in Germany, they would be more on the right CDU level. And just imagine you have an LMM which is just trained like Twitter, Grok, on anti-Semitic and racial stuff. And you only get your own stuff all the time, and it's repeating your own bubble. And this will happen. So the people in their right or left bubbles will only get content from their AI-generated bubbles. And this is something we have to take a look at this. Innovation is accelerating. By the way, this is from AI Index. Nestor, the author, he's here today, so he will go into in detail. Innovation is everywhere. So not the Americans are bringing out the innovation itself is global, and the talents are global. Especially here in Europe, we have a lot of good talents. So we don't have a bottleneck of talents, we just have a bottleneck of, I call it funding and accelerating the right companies. Startups are global. We have a lot of abundance of startups everywhere. Still, all the capital, most of it, is American. And the M&A activities are strong. I know it's the wrong audience, but I appeal to more German companies buying startups. Yes, because it's refurbishing the system. If you spend 200 million for a startup, 190 million are going back to the system, after taxes maybe, to refinance it. And we saw this with StudiVZ, etc. This money was like 10 times, 100 times reinvested over and over again. So we are doing Rise of I quite for a while, still 2 years for our anniversary. And I like to recap on it because it meant we started as a meetup talking about singularity. Still way ahead, but this was our first thoughts. And then until 2019, I call it was mass education. Almost 1,000 people, 4 stages in parallel, and it was a lot of tuxedo suit people with ties, consultants who wanted to be educated. And it changed. In 2019, we had all the analysts there. Today, all the partners came. So we still have the consultants, but today we have the boss and not the ones to be educated. Today it's a business for them, and I like this. 2020 we had to go virtual. That's why we have a live stream today, which I like a lot. And I remember we had the first lockdown and the second lockdown, and we had like capacity of 20 people there, so 10 people sitting in the audience and 10 people exchanging all the time. And then 2022 we came back with a new system, limited it to the size of first 200, now 300 people. We don't want to grow by size, just by quality every year. And for over 10 years we do this now. We connect. I spoke with thousands of you as speakers, as guests over the year. I collected a lot of thoughts of you, and this all worked for 10 years in my brain, and I try to summarize this in one book. So today is the official public release of my book called Die KI-Nation. And it's a hybrid work. So most of this is written by humans. If you get the book, some parts are written by ChatGPT, for example, the glossar, and it's written there. And I have an Easter egg there. The last page was written by an AI too. I gave ChatGPT the prompt, you are the voice for all AIs and you're shaping the image we have of you for decades. Do something out of this. And then you have to get the book to look what the AI is telling us or telling you how it sees itself for us. The title itself is a little bit ambitious. And first I wanted to add a question mark there, because I'm not sure if we will become a KI-Nation, AI nation one day. Still, that's why the subtitle is between dystopia and utopia, because I can't decide. I think we are somewhere in the middle, in between. And I personally like to go for extremes. I will introduce AI. You can skip the first chapter, but it's good to read. I will go in depth my view on the American and Chinese systems, especially I traveled plenty of time to China, and if you want to live in 1984 real time, go there, experience it. They have beautiful programs like Skynet. They really call their program Skynet. The marketing agency would have, I would never call a system Skynet, nevertheless. So if you want to experience Skynet, it's coming from China. It's already out there. I will go into analysis what we in Europe are doing and what we're not doing. That's why the chapter is called Ready Player Germany, question mark. Yeah, sure. You know, It's a nerd joke, yeah. But I like the VR and the metaverse, and this will come real too, but this is a different stage. Um, so you can get it from now on today on Amazon, but we also have some printed over there. I have a pen with me, so if you want to have a signature, I'm around and I will sign it for you if you get a printed version there, or it's ebook too. Yeah. Um, since I wrote it with you, yes, it's your thoughts in it. I have a nice reading list in the back. Also, some Germans who wrote about this, and some of our speakers are in the book too. Plenty of our guests are in the book too. Please read it. If you want to do me a favor, recommend it on Amazon, because for the AI algorithm, so it's trending better. Yeah, we need it. But honestly, I've wrote it so you can give it to your boss or to your clients to tell them you haven't got it yet, read it, and then we talk again. So it's more like a sales instrument for you to educate people that they take this serious. Last year during the dinner, one member of the parliament told me, give me 16 copies, yeah, for all the 60 ministers we have. They have to read this. And that's why I wrote it, both of it. And as I said, the Easter egg is on the last page. Good. I have a timer, so I have a couple of call to actions. And they are not for today, they are for tomorrow and afterwards. So first, we need a digital state. I repeat this every year until we arrive at least in Web 2.0 for the government, but we need a digital government, we need a digital administration. And this administration should be the first purchaser of AI software later. Not yet, because if you don't have the infrastructure below, if you don't have the data and the processes, you don't need AI. We all know it. It's just the tip of the iceberg. But still, we need government. Second, and I lobbied for this, we need, I call a large state reform to bring the government in the next century. And we need, I call it a better taxation system. Because what's frustrating? If you have a job, you pay more taxes than when you do investments. And that's not fair. Years I just did the math and I learned if I just do the investments, I pay 1.5% tax on this. But if I hire myself, I pay up to 60% overall. That is not fair. I think we have a huge penalty on people who work in this country, and I think this is something which should be changed. Second, I want that we get more incentives for integration of innovation. And I spoke with government, Dr. Anna Christmann, for example, to give like tax breaks, tax relief for companies to integrate AI. And they all know they need AI, but they need a little bit of push. Why not subsidize it in a certain way? We always know in the long run we benefit. And this is the only chance we have. Upgrading our industry, upgrading our economy. We need our own foundation models because this is called Kulturbewahrung. Yes, it's our language, it's our culture and these systems. I want that our children's books are written by our own systems and not by American or Chinese systems. But I still also want that our industry is running on our clouds, on our AIs, and we need to do this. And we still have the opportunity because this is all about sales. It's about being there, helping the companies. And the Americans, they don't do sales here yet. I mean, you have Amazon, yes, and you have Google calling you, but there's still huge opportunity to do all the sales, especially in Germany. They don't fly, they fly into Berlin, but they don't go to Heilbronn that easy, or to Heidelberg, and that's our opportunities to local help them to upgrade. And this is why we do this event, yeah? That everyone goes back to his home turf and is helping the local ecosystems. I want that and I call them super rich, taking responsibility. With super rich, I mean if you make more than 100 million a year, you can keep 100 million a year, but the rest, please reinvest. You don't have to raise your hands if you make 100 million. But reinvest. Club de Rome just did the math, and if you have like earnings of 10 billion a year in dividends, you don't need 10 billions on your bank account. You can invest 99% of this. Pay back to the ecosystem. Invest in healthcare. Invest in education. Invest into technology. And we need this. Most of the assets are in the hands of very few people. As I said, we are taxed because we work, we are taxed heavily. If you have a lot of money, you are taxed less. Because government is to afraid or too weak to tackle this, but we need this. And I'm pretty sure most of the wealthy, super wealthy people, they're entrepreneurs themselves. They have built companies themselves. We just need to give them a hand to be active and to give something back to society. And what I want there is we have to accelerate education. We have to start in the kindergartens to teach our children how to be responsible with technology and how to learn. And I always say they have to learn at least one foreign language and one computer language. They need to understand how machines work. And I'm afraid if I learn that about generation, I think Z, they only know interfaces. They don't know DOS anymore. They don't know the terminal anymore. How can you fix a machine if you just do drag and drop? You have to look in the terminal at least once in a while to see how the engine is running. You need to be able to at least read the code. And I have some people here who re-educate them and start to learn AI and coding even if they are way out of kindergarten today. And we need to educate 20 million people. Half of the society will work with AI in the next 10 years. They need to know how to use these tools, how to get along with them. They need our help. And then, as I always said, we need to figure out our niche in Germany and Europe. It's not the big AI. I call it the industrial AI and green AI, sustainable AI, AI for sustainability, but our AI should be energy efficient because it takes a lot of energy. And we had this one dialogue, I think Norway, they couldn't produce munition anymore because TikTok servers needed more energy and they had to do a deal. So we have to decide, do you want to have TikTok or do you want to win a war? And they decided for TikTok. Yeah? That's something wrong in our society. But on the other hand, if you look idiocracy and others, it's about entertaining the masses. So overall, it's about collaboration as a nation, as an ecosystem, to make all this real, which we have on paper. Because our time is running out. Call to actions for today. Yeah. So today, this stage is for the policymakers, for the United Nations, for the German government, and AI in defense as a last topic later. You have over there the applied AI stage, which will open right after me, where you have research, scaling, ethics, security, and the European AI Act, the good, the bad, and the tiny hope. I want that you go out there, you eat, you network, and I know it, and I will sometimes force you to go to the stages. We have at 12 p.m., also at 12, the first session with Meet the Policymakers, a new format we're trying in the lounges, and at 1 p.m. the next one. So it's about for 10 to 15 people if you want to have a policymaker face to face, Chatham House rules, no media, just do it. Yeah? Then you can't complain they didn't listen. So I would say enjoy. Yes. Thank you.